Wow. Well, I think it's safe to say that Kawhi's free agency decision was definitely worth the wait. But did they really have to do Oklahoma City like that and trade for Paul George the day before Paul George Day? I'm sure everyone in Oklahoma City was really excited about it. But don't worry, guys. You still have Russell Westbrook. Oh, well, you have him for now, anyways. So I think it's safe to say that free agency has been everything I could have asked for and more. I mean, it's been absolutely insane. And it led us to this point where Kawhi and Paul George are both Clippers. And I mean, I could not see this coming, but first off, gotta give props to the Clippers. And most of all, Jerry West. I mean, if he wasn't already the greatest executive of all time, then he definitely is now. I mean, Jesus Christ, this man has acquired Shaq, KD, and now Kawhi in his career. And that's not counting trading for Kobe and Paul George. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. And congrats to Steve Ballmer and Doc Rivers. You guys secured Kawhi. That's what you've been trying to do all year. And this team was not just some scrubby team before Kawhi. I think we all know what they were capable of. We saw it last year in the playoffs. I mean, they took a full Warriors team to 6. KD had to go God mode and drop 50 and 45 just to beat them. And you're adding Kawhi and Paul George to that? I mean, Kawhi's the best player in the world. I know some people might think it's LeBron, but LeBron didn't play in the playoffs last year, so I just can't give it to him. He's good at everything except passing, but even that he's improving on. He improved on it in the playoffs last year. I watched it as it happened. He got better. So I'm not really too concerned about that. And his contract honestly isn't even that bad. Annually 35.5 mil a year, 4 years. That's a pretty decent contract. It's not crazy like the Supermaxes where you end up paying 40 mil a year. Even Chris Paul makes more money a year than him. So basically, you're adding Paul George with Kawhi. And in that, he's a great fit for Kawhi. Neither of them need the ball in their hand to be that dominant. I think he'll defer to Kawhi in the fourth quarter. I mean, because he's the reigning Finals MVP. What are you going to say to him? Something like, hey Kawhi, I know you just hit one of the greatest game winners in the history of the playoffs last year, but I actually think you should let me, who's like 1 in 12 all time on go-ahead buzzer beaters, shoot the last shot. I think it's a great idea. I mean, I'm clearly more clutch than you. You did have to lose Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong, but I mean, he's a solid young point guard. He's got a lot of upside. Danilo Gallinari, I think Paul George is just a Danilo Gallinari that scores more and plays better defense. I feel like you're just replacing him. It's not that big of a deal. But Shai, man, Shai was huge for them last year in the playoffs. Played big minutes for them, and that's a tough loss. But I mean, for Paul George, it's just worth it. I'm not even gonna get into the picks because it's so complicated. But from a player standpoint, Shai and Danilo for Paul George, totally worth it. And you're gonna couple two of the best defensive players in the league in Paul George and Kawhi with Patrick Beverley as their point guard. He just re-signed on a good deal, 3 years, 40 mil. He can shoot and defend, which is all you need to do in today's NBA to be a good role player. And he gets on everyone's nerves. I mean, last year, he actually held KD to low scoring nights. Pat Beverley, who's like a foot shorter than him, held KD to low scoring nights just because he got in his head. I know, after a while, KD kind of shut him up, but he killed it in the playoffs, and I think he's a really valuable asset to the team. And we haven't even mentioned Lou Will yet, who's an absolute bucket, greatest bench player of all time, hands down. I mean, he's on a great contract, not getting paid that much this year. I think it's around $8 million. And him off the bench while Kawhi and PG are resting is going to be disgusting. Hell, they don't even need to be resting. Just Lou Will and one of them will be offensively insane. That's not to mention his buddy, Montrezl Harrell, who's a 20 and 10 guy. I mean, on lower minutes than most. He absolutely killed it last year. Even if he comes off the bench and they start Zubac over him, I think he'll still kill it. Give at least 18 and 8. I mean, I don't see his shots going down that much. I mean, he barely shot before. He just shot what was given to him. So, I mean, the 5 players I listed right there could be their closing lineup. Pat Bev at point guard, Lou Will at shooting guard, PG at small forward, Kawhi at power forward, and Montrez at center. Think about that. That's the lineup they're probably going to be closing games with. Jesus Christ. And I haven't even mentioned Landry Shamet, who they kept, who last year played big minutes for them in the playoffs, shoots really well, great for spacing the floor. Same with Ivanka Zubac. He could space the floor as well. So this team's got a lot of shooting. That's without even mentioning their newest free agency pickup, Mo Harkless, also great at spacing the floor. So I honestly think that this team is deservingly the Vegas favorites right now. I think they're the best team in the NBA, easily the best team in the West. They just have such a good team with the star power you need to win a title. Kawhi and Paul George, all you need. Kawhi's shown that he can do it by himself, and I know it was against the hobbled Warriors team, but he beat the Sixers and Milwaukee. Both really good teams at basically full strength. I know Joel was sick and hurt, but you beat who's in front of you, and Kawhi did that. So with him and Paul, they should be the #1 seed, without a doubt. The team's just too good. They won 48 games last year. They should win 60 games. Kawhi counts for at least 5. Same with Paul George. It's a 10-game increase. So I would say around 58 to 62. It's a good range. I think they'll top the West. I think they'll win the finals as of now. Of course, this is excluding injuries. If that happens, I mean, who knows who will win. But as of now, with just how deep the team is and how good their stars are, I just don't see how this team isn't the title favorite. And it's not like they have a bad coach either. Doc Rivers is a phenomenal coach. He showed that last year. Steve Ballmer's a great owner. They won't make mistakes. It's a phenomenally run franchise with a great team. I don't see how this doesn't work out. I mean, you got 2 MVP level players in Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, and you're adding them to a team that won 48 games and took the Warriors 6. And I know I've been stressing that point, but it was a fully loaded Warriors squad. Fully loaded. The only other team to take them that far was the Rockets the year before. Think about it. No one else has taken the Warriors that far. Not with a fully healthy team. I have to be honest though, I think everyone is a winner in this. We're going to have some great competitive basketball, but OKC, man. Kawhi really just finessed Paul George from you. Just swooped in and took him out of nowhere. I mean, God, to be an Oklahoma City fan and wake up to that must have been brutal. Anyway, that's all. Laker video going to be coming out tomorrow discussing their free agency moves and why they're contenders. But as of now, I have the Clippers on top. There are other contenders, but I do think they are the favorite. Comment if you disagree. Let me know what you think. Leave a like if you do agree. And peace.